Good afternoon and welcome back to another Last Epoch dev stream. I'm your host Mike, and it's great to see you all. We're just going to turn off our chat real quick. How's it going? Anything exciting happened today? Anything get revealed? Any new news that showed up that someone might be interested in? I don't know. We've got our first sub of the day. Thank you very much. We've got Edric96. Welcome back for your second month in a row. Very cool. Our charity this month, we've got a new charity we're starting because it's the start of a new month. We're doing Extra Life. They do a lot of cool stuff. Check them out. Okay, so first question right off the bat. Are starting strong. Good to see. Do locusts live in hives? Why not bees? Yeah, I could say they live in the hives, sure. And why not bees? We wanted something that connected more directly with the form itself, and bee form didn't really work. We tried. Didn't work. We needed something a little bit more, I want to say aggressive. It's the wrong word though. Like, I don't know the exact way to describe the reason bees didn't work. I'm sure someone else could. But they didn't quite work. Okay. Alright, you guys already had bees locked and loaded. Yeah, we did. We did already have bees locked and loaded. It's a lot of fun though, guys. Like, I've been dying to tell you. And the last 24 hours watching the forums and all the theories and everything coming out. And like, that's why I don't know if you guys noticed when I got asked what the last letter was. I think I said something like, "Oh my god, that's so misleading," right afterwards, because like it's not a word you'd know. But yeah, there was who I don't know who it was that had the theory. There was one that I saw on the forums, just nailed it. I did not make the connection at all. The Nerubians from WoW did not make the connection at all, and I saw it. And I'm like, oh my god, that's the closest reference I've seen yet. I don't think we ever even like noticed that connection, which is wild. The number of us that play WoW or have played WoW and no one picked up on that. Maybe someone did and I just didn't notice it.
Stand down or die.
Yeah, it's I'm pumped that it's out in the open now. Stoked we can just play, talk. Swarmblade. Yeah. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We've got TNY who gets it a sub to Lizard IRL. Thank you very much. Welcome to the fold, Lizard. What are we talking about? I just came in. You know, I don't think there's anything exciting that happened, so you know we're just shooting the crap. What's next week's teaser theme? Legendaries? I don't know what's going on next week actually. There's a lot. It was a big info dump this week. I don't think we'll be doing quite as heavy of an info dump next week. Let's start. Oh, it is starting. Will there ever be a way to modify fractured items or reduce instability on items? No. However, those terms might be a little outdated. Did you know locusts do not live in their hives? Also, BMTX1, I did not know locusts do not live in their hives. Well, they're just like, they're hanging out in the hives, and they are waiting to be released. And you can, there's a node in there that you can encourage them to come out a little sooner if you want. If you missed it, we did just spoil the third transform. The links are on our Discord, on our Reddit, on our everything else. Welcome, quiet for me. Bring a raiding party of 3 people. Sit down, stay a while, and listen. Or talk. Or, you know, whatever you want, really. Boardman, he's gets to the sub to Mr. Fibble. Welcome, welcome, and congrats. Thank you, Boardman. Looks like Scyther, the coolest Pokemon. Yeah, there's definitely some Scyther influences in the art. It was other, like, there's a whole bunch of games and play styles that we looked at for, like, what we liked, what we didn't like, what we wanted to include, what we wanted to avoid, all sorts of things. And yeah, visuals, the Scyther connection is not lost on us either. Mantis, like, praying mantis, just like from nature shows and stuff, was like from nature shows, from nature itself, but we got a lot of clips from nature shows as references. Was one of the biggest things, I would say. You guys nailed Druid Week. Only one flaw was Spriggan body blocking issues for lack of mobility. But I'm overall happy. You guys did a great job and love ESG team and proud. Thank you very much, Quiet. Will also Spriggan is dead to me. I'm Swarmblade main now. This is my wishless transformation skill. All right. Well, we'll get you playing all of them. Maybe you can play Spriggan Swarmblade. You can, because you can get the skills that transfer from Spriggan directly to Swarmblade, and then when it transitions directly from Swarmblade to Spriggan, so you can just like flip between the two. Yeah, like all of the transforms have abilities that transfer directly to each other transform. So like there's a unique ability that goes Bear to Spriggan, and there's a different unique ability that goes from Bear to Swarmblade. And you can take them both, and it's just whichever one you've triggered last will be the one that happens. Stand down or die. If that makes any sense. It's a little tricky, but it works. Most of the time we feel like people will take only just one of those and you won't have both of them, but it'll work if you do take both. If you guys design a 5th skill for Swarmblade, I would love to see something where the wings push an airwave, knocking back enemies. Yeah, there's not room on the bar for a 5th skill right now, so it would be a pretty big change to do that, but it's possible. We did talk about having things where like it replaces skills on the bar, like so you could like switch out Swipe for Ravage. I know it's a terrible example because no one would do that, but we did talk about having those options. And the reason why we don't have any of those in there right now is that it tended to negate a pretty large section of the tree, which we try and avoid if we can. Also, Swarmblade looks like Kabuterimon from Digimon. I like never got into Digimon. One of my cousins growing up was like big into it. I just never got into it. But yeah, that's sort of like super agile, like insect theme with like big bladed arms. Like that's in a lot of different games and TV shows and things like that. And we just kind of took a lot of that general core idea and just tried to make our own. You can see a lot of the concept arts that we went through there. Some of them are really cool. I love the one we landed on. We've been working on this for well over a year now. Like we've had the name Swarmblade for well over a year, and we've been like trying to figure out exactly how it's gonna work and exactly what it's gonna do for so long. We've gone through like 3 different models for it. Like is he always gonna fly? Is he gonna walk? Is he gonna jump? What's gonna happen? Like, so many little things. I'm so pumped for it. This has been a long time coming skill. Yeah. And it's really the reason why we're doing the Wherebear and the Spriggan transformation reworks, because like we saw how good this was looking, and we're like, it just makes the other two look like crap. Yeah, I was watching little tangent. I'll get back to the questions. I'm sorry. Little tangent. I was watching Mostly Walking, which is it's a show about adventure games, like point-and-click adventure games. With Day9 is one of the hosts, and two of his buddies that are like both game developers as well, so you get some cool insights. But they were talking about this concept in games, or any media really, where if you have this like fairly consistent style or level of quality, it can feel really good. But then as soon as you have this maybe one or two features that really spikes high above the others, and nothing changes about the other ones, it can make them just look worse by comparison. And then these elements that were totally fine at one point are suddenly not okay because they're being compared to something else that's much better. Terrible paraphrasing. But yeah, so it's kind of what was happening with our Swarmblade. Made the Wherebear and Spriggan look kind of meh, the old ones. But the new ones. Alright, let's hit some questions here. There's a couple that I see. I hope we get ultimate abilities at some point. Like a slow gauge that fills up during battle. Yeah, it's a cool concept. So that's another sort of thing we were talking about with, like I've been kind of teasing with dungeons. We're not doing specifically that, just to be clear, right now. But that is something we could do. And part of that is the I've talked about a few times with boss fights where we can only assume you have move and attack. We can't really assume you have anything else. And giving specific mechanics to players to make boss fights more interesting, so like guaranteed mechanics in boss fights. And so like that could be a time where maybe there's a boss fight where you get some special ability. Like the thing that comes to mind is, you can tell what type of games I play because the next example is a Zelda example. Surprise, surprise. In Skyward Sword, spoiler alert, sorry, there's this giant monster that's coming out of this hole, and he's like walking really slowly around the outside of this big arena, and you gotta hurt him, and he falls back down. You gotta do that a few times throughout the game, and it gets harder each time. Near the end of the game, you have to fight him the last time. You actually have your friend Grouse, who starts the game as your enemy, but becomes a friend, and he's got this big like bomb catapult that like runs around the outside edge of the top of the ring and can like shoot bombs at him, and it charges up over time, and then he's like, hey, I can shoot now, and you take control of him and shoot. Great. And that's that like extra mechanic that's added in specifically to that boss fight that you don't have anywhere else, but it helps you with the boss fight, and it's something you have to learn and master for that fight. But it also it's that same thing you're just talking about, where it's like charges up, you get some ultimate ability, and you can trigger. And I really like that design, where you can like give new mechanics to boss fights based on something in the environment, something in the story. So like I feel like we could do something relatively similar. The problem with sorry, this was a tangent. My first thought on this question was actually getting ultimate abilities, and I think the part of the problem there is it could, if we give like an ultimate ability that maybe it was like a separate slot, it would probably have to be like a different one for each mastery, but it may take that mastery and pull it really in a specific direction, because if that ultimate is really powerful enough, then basically everyone's going to have to utilize it in some way, and you suddenly lose the ability to make these characters that are like a a sorcerer, like a melee sorcerer, that it's like I know we give you the Spellblade and that should work, but like trying to take a void themed paladin or a like a cold themed void knight, things that like shouldn't really work, but suddenly because you've got this ability that's like really pushing you in that direction super duper hard, it can sometimes make it feel mandatory. And we kind of do that a little bit with the with these mastery abilities. That's sort of like, here you go, here's a key important thing for your class. You don't have to use it. Like, Racing Strike is a bad example because it's not fantastic, but it's getting better. Yeah. The inspiration was from Pokemon Don't Lie. It was from a lot of different sources. It's been going for a long time, and we've changed what it's gonna be so many times. But I am really stoked with what it is. I'm amped up today. So happy that this finally got out. Yeah. Something happened in the middle of that. Also, we had, I thought I heard a bling in the middle of all that, but I don't see anything. Well, if I missed a bling, sorry. Can we see some Swarmblade gameplay on stream? I don't have a build with it prepped for you. There's like we're still actively developing all these things, so it's like these the little video clips that are there are very close to up to date. They were captured extremely recently, and I know we had like re-upped versions of them. Okay, don't die, Mike. Ooh, come on. Little too much. Little too much. And there's like, even since the videos have come out for those posts, we've like changed little things and added little things. Like there's a post with the Wherebear's like doing rampage and he's just charging, and the lightning strikes are coming down. It's showing that, and it's like coming down right in him, so like a little bit behind him even. And since that video was made, we've taken those lightning strikes and pulled them like ahead a little bit, and then split them out a little bit, so there's a little bit of variance to it. And if you are near an enemy that's like pretty close, it'll actually just target the enemy directly. It feels way better now. But like just little things like that get updated and tweaked pretty rapidly, and we're still a little bit out from patch, so we're still updating a lot of those things. So happy that it's finally out. Subtext. So now we can't change it too much. Not what I was going for, but yeah, it's a good point. No, it's far enough along in development that we can't change it too much anyways. No, these long-term skills that like there's things on the fire that like we've been, you know, stoking the fire for a while, and either like struggle to just get it right, or just really like need to wait for certain other things to line up to make it work. You know, there's a lot of things like that happen. That was a tough little fight there that I died in. That wasn't just me, right? That was an unlucky turn of events. I'm claiming that at least. All right, right. So we'll like keep promoting weekly themes. Don't forget to add me when you're doing a question, but I did see this one. You keep promoting weekly themes like Druid now would be cool thing for the Warlock Falconer, for example. Yeah, I'm sure we'll do this again, but it's definitely just not the like standard operating procedure for every week. mostly because we don't have like a week's worth of epic posts, or like we don't have an epics post for every single day left between now and the patch. That would be an unbelievable amount of content. There's a few more big ones left. I know you guys are waiting for. Legendary items, Eternity Cache, dungeons, details on all those things. It's all coming.
Stand down or die.
Oh, story time. We had struggling to find keys in D2R right now, but we found one last night. I found a key set. And we're like, okay, well let's just hammer out one Ubers, see what we get. 2019 Sork Torch. Amazing. Could not believe it. So we're making an Enigma. Yes, crafting teasers. That's another big one too. We'll be having a post for that. The yeah, crafting. There's a lot of progress made with crafting this week, in the development side of things. Hotkeys are different. Dropping stuff on the ground. Good job, Mike. We're going for that exalted node. Any sneak peeks on the agenda for the stream? Not really. I don't have any big things to spoil today. Maybe I'll like bust out a node for you for Swarmblade. I feel like we got a lot of spoilers today. If you guys want to know anything about how any of the transforms will work, will play, any clarifications on the posts we've had this week, if you're curious about something like, oh, I really like this play style, is it going to be available still, or what's going on with this, happy to answer any of those. Game looks 10 times better than it did 3-ish years ago when I bought it. Yes, it does. Thank you very much. That is, yeah. we do a flashback every once in a while where we look at where we were and where we are, and it's like, it doesn't look like the same game at all, in a good way, in a really good way. Sometimes you say that and it's like, wow, they butchered it and it's, you know, yada yada yada, but nope, it is just strictly better. Here's a question. How is Swarmblade going to maintain synergy across its skills with one being summoner focused? That's a great question. When you use the... Okay, here, let's do this first. Yes, you're super strong. I am the butt kicker, though. That's right. The Swarm Strike, the spin attack, because it can gather the minions around you. First off, a lot of the nodes say like you and your locusts in the tree, so there's like bonuses to either. And then on top of that, because you can collect them all up and use them as an ability of like as yourself, they're still useful as personal. Like, this is the damage I'm dealing. And then if you really want it to be more minion focused, you can still have that attack be... There's a node in there that converts that attack to be your minion damage. So you can, like... you can take those halves of it and, like, really push it in one direction or the other. And then the movement skill is... Yes, it's a movement skill. They're always great. And then... If you are going a really strictly summon focused, the melee attack... The arm blade slashes becomes a little like, you know, whatever, but there's then that node that lets you you use it once and then you can like trigger a summon of more locusts quickly, so you can like turn your arm blade slashes into a more minion focused ability. And then there's I think this was all in the post, So it's like it's you can really take some of your abilities and push them in one direction or the other, or kind of sit in the middle and have it affect both. So it's there's a lot of options to build it either way. You also can. Okay, here's a spoiler on a note, and I'm gonna butcher the wording, so it might be not perfect wording, but I can tell you functionally what it does. You can melee attack your hives to cause them to spawn a locust early. So the hive spawns a locust like. I think that's about the cadence that it spawns in that. And if you want, you can also then melee attack it so that it's like spawning them rapidly as it's doing there. So you can like use your melee attack to cause more locusts to come out to do more minion damage. And there's more tie-ins to other abilities as well. both melee and minion. All right. How is the? Oh, I think I missed one. Dropping my fidget. It's just a bag clip. Love it. Where are we? I'm curious as to your point of view on phasing as a concept, especially curious on how mobility with Spriggan form went about to make up for enemy mobility and difficulty. So really, we do try and make most content viable to do without a movement ability, or we're trying to make it all viable to do without a movement ability. And I know there's some builds out there, but it's very rare. And we kind of felt that the movement ability itself wasn't as fitting in a tree form. Like the thing for me personally that comes by, and I want to be clear there, it's all stuff we're gonna work on, and like we read all the comments on the Spriggan form reveal that a lot of people are not overly enthused about the lack of movement skill. Now I will say, just as a note, the current Spriggan doesn't really have movement skill either. So it's not like we're taking something away, we're just not adding an extra one. If that makes any sense. But like the Spriggan form does have a lot of extra defensive and healing options. There's a lot of that in there. So sometimes movement is not as necessary because you can tank it or heal through it. Like there's a lot of that in there too. And there is readily available access to switching to other forms if you really want to have movement in there as well. So you can switch quickly between the forms. Even if you're not specialized in the form, you can still quick switch to it. Now, you won't be able to quick switch back without being specialized in the form you're switching from. So you can go into Swarmblade even if you're not specialized in Swarmblade. The only difference is you can't go from, even if you have the node, you do need to have the skill unlocked. That's the important thing. So you need to have, like it has to be like a highlight, like a bright one here. It can't be faded in order to go to it. So there's other options there. With regards to phasing, which was the start of your question, we have some problems with phasing. We can't do it right now. Not really. It causes issues. So yeah, but we are going to take a very close look at Spriggan form with regards to movement skills, and a lot of the time near like ramping up to patch, when we start getting builds into CT's hands and things like that. A lot of that comes down to feel. That's one of the main questions we ask CTs a lot: is how does this feel? Yeah, that's one of the biggest questions we ask them is feelings regarding it. So we will be taking a very close look at how the Spriggan feels to play in more advanced content and without a movement skill like that. All right, more questions. Moving on. I'm getting a little rambly here today. But I like getting rambly. I think it makes for good answers too. How does rage work? Does mana just disappear, or is it converted from mana to rage? Okay, so when you enter a form, whether you're going from human form, going from different transform, like as soon as you enter a form for the first time into that form directly, your mana turns into rage. Like your mana globe changes color and becomes rage, and it gets set to max. It just goes, it's now rage, it's now full. Boom, there you go. Have fun. Thank you, random name X. You're sad it wasn't. I'm sad it wasn't B form. Yeah, there's. I mean, I was wearing the B outfit, and it kind of. I guess it was kind of a nod to the form we were doing, but yeah, it wasn't a direct reference. And that last letter was very misleading. I did like the beetle thoughts that people had. Anyway, sorry, back to rage. So yeah, you enter form, rage goes to full. Things that would charge you mana, like triggered abilities that would charge you mana, charge rage instead. Mechanically, rage and mana, as far as like using it to pay for abilities, is the same. Rage decays slowly over time, and is very easily restored in combat. Very easily restored in combat. It does not increase the speed that it decays at. It is a linear. It is a linear decrease, so it's not gonna like eventually lock you out no matter what type thing. So the only way, so like I say, like permaform is really easy. Permaform is really easy as long as you've hit something in the last minute. 2 minutes, you know, like I don't know what the actual number is where it goes from full to 0, but it's pretty forgiving.
I cannot do that.
All right, here we go. Was there another question there that I missed? Yeah, that's it. And then when you go back to, this is second half of that question. Sorry, Aaron, if you're splicing this together. Second half that when you come out of your transform, your mana, you go back to mana, and it goes to whatever it was when you entered form. I'm pretty sure. Alright, any plans to introduce new affixes that make hybrid build more viable? New Druid rework seems to be quite hybrid. Yeah, there are definitely hybrid options in there, and I'm sure we'll add, like, there's new uniques coming, there's new affixes coming, there's new I'm pretty sure there's new idols coming. There's new item base type coming, legendaries. There's a lot of other stuff that's coming with it, and so there'll be a lot of new tools. Ooh, a Titan Femur with a melee lightning flat exalted affix. Didn't even look at the rest of it. Will it be possible to insta-cast the hives? Just feels weird to be this rampaging bug and have to stop to cast hives. No, hives are not instant cast. They do have a cast time. There are ways that you can get hives. Pretty sure there's ways you can like trigger hives to happen. I don't remember. There's some cool stuff. It feels pretty smooth. Feels pretty smooth. And like I said, that's the sort of stuff that we really get into when we're getting closer to patch and we're like really nailing down the polish of these abilities and things where we're taking a hard look at how it feels, and that's funny. I just filtered out all shields. I don't need no shields. Two-handed swords are bust. All right. I'm really pumped about Mantis form, also because I love to be right. I'm a bit worried about how the animation of casting a hive will interfere with fluid gameplay of going in as a crazy bug. Basically the same question we just had, or similar question. Can we make them instant cast or something? Does it get super smooth? It casts pretty quick. You know, I feel like things need intentionality, and I understand the like want for things to be instant cast, but like everything can't be instant cast, and if too many things are instant cast, anything that's not just starts to feel kind of rough, I think. That's why I think most things are not instant cast in general. But we'll see. Some of those names are comically long on the affixes. I don't know if you saw that one. It's like a full sentence. Nice base for a chest. With part of the Druid overhaul, how much consideration is taken into interplayability with other classes? Also, is Swarmblade Mastery locked? Not sure if that was relevant or not. Swarmblade is the top. It's like the final. It's here on the tree. Here. Yeah, it's right here. That one. Whatever that one is. That's where it is. Assuming you guys can see my cursor. Yes, Swarmblade is locked. Oh no, sorry, I'm wrong. Tangling Roots goes here. Swarmblade goes here. Yeah. But yes, it's class locked. We do look at the like interplay with other classes. Now, I don't know if you mean like with other masteries, because we do look at that quite a bit, and that Spriggan has a lot more roots in other trees, which is roots, which is kind of why it's not as directly. It's you get it earlier and all that sort of stuff, and like because it has such a link to like summon Spriggan. I know Wherebear does too, but it's just the quintessential one, so it has to be there. All right, taking names, kicking butt. Make sure we don't die. Love the Haste Shrine. It's the best. It fixes the slowing. Everything slows me in here. Bye-bye. Alright, where are we at here? So it would not be cool that Spriggan travels like roots underground. Yeah, so we did see that suggestion a fair bit, and like the conversation kind of goes, well, what if like roots traveling underground, sort of like all that sort of stuff, and okay, well, roots don't travel that fast underground. Okay, well, you have entangling roots, and magic is the thing, so you can basically make anything work. We'll look at it. The kit really works well with the abilities that it has, and there's not a ton of room for a movement ability in there. It's possible that we might have some movement stuff that we didn't display yet that helps with it. But I guess all I can say right now is we'll make sure it's awesome. Yes, he thought it was beetle form. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know who it was. Someone had a really great shot. I want to shout at whoever it was here. I'm gonna find it. Where is it? It's the teaser. I'll find it. One sec. I'm on the right page. Scrolling up. Here we are. Amarathi. I'm pretty sure Amarathi was the first to mention Nerubians, and I think that is the closest thing to it. So, way to go. I was quite happy when I saw that. Spine Hunter Alpha. You don't have to hunt for it. My spine's on my back, but you can't have it. Alright. I am Justin. Just got here. Did I miss my accidental secret item reveals? Nope. Nothing accidentally revealed yet. So if you have an ability that uses mana while you're in a form, then it still uses your mana. No, it uses your rage. And right after that, it says it's just going to cost rage. Yes. Will legendaries have build-defining and unique affixes that are not just flat increases in power tier? Yes. And kind of know at the same time. I don't know how to answer that question, actually. Yeah, yes, they do. Yes. Definitely yes. I don't know. Ask me after it's revealed and we can discuss it. Next question, here we go. Will we ever be able to freely choose between blessings we have unlocked, or will we have to grind bosses if we want to change them? That's a great question. I don't know the answer to it yet. We're not changing that this patch, but it is something that comes up as a topic of discussion. So maybe. One thing that I know was suggested at one point that I liked the suggestion of was that, like, you unlock... We've got... Okay, here we go. Daedalus has gifted 5 subs to the channel. Thank you very much, Daedalus. Welcome back. Glad to have you here. If you are one of the people that got one of those, congrats. What was I saying? Sorry. I always get distracted by that, but in a good way. Okay, we'll keep going. Let's scroll up on the rest of that question. Where was it? Freely choose blessings. Right. So one suggestion I saw from someone, I think it was on the forums, may have been Discord, someone was saying, have a... like, be able to freely switch, but have it be, like, at most half the value of the highest version of it you've ever gotten. It would be tough to do. It's possible. Kind of a pain, but it's doable. So, like, have, like if you have, we'll just use basic things here. If you have one that's plus health and one's plus mana, and it's 1 to 100 health, 1 to 100 mana are the 2 blessings. And you get a perfect roll health, but you're like, okay, I want to switch to mana. You go find it, you get it, you switch to mana. Then you can go back, maybe you find a perfect 100 mana as well. And you can go back to health whenever you want, but you can only go back to a 50 health instead of 100 health. And then you can go back to mana whenever you want, but the only mana you can go back to is 50 mana. So it's like you can switch freely. And I don't think it really solves the problem, but there's something in there in that it's like not as good, or there's some cost or something. These aren't really items that you're like picking which item you want to equip, right? This is you've gone, like, the theming behind it is you've just gone through this timeline, you've rectified some situation, you've changed how things work, you're getting a blessing from some god, it is, or like a temple or something, you're getting a blessing. In that moment, they are blessing you with this, like, here, I'm bestowing this power upon you in this moment. And it's like too unstable, and it, like, because the other one came from an alternate timeline of the same space, it like kicks the other one out, and that just, like, it's like that timeline didn't exist or something like that. and so you're replacing what you have with something new, and that's the theming behind it. So it's not that you're like getting this like trinket that says, okay, now you can extract this blessing from it and use it. It's nothing like that. And so that's the big problem with having these be switchable. From a mythos. It's the wrong word. There's a term for this that I like keep forgetting. There's from this in the game, a diegetic reason. Nailed it. But from just like a strictly gameplay stance, yeah, I think there's definitely an argument to be made for having those be switchable. And sometimes we have to take that as a, which one do we care about more, or is there a way we can like bridge the gap there? So for now, at least, it is staying the way it is, but it's possible that it could change depending on how the game changes, you know? Is console release possible? Curious. Yeah, it's possible. We've one of the biggest, so there's a few hurdles with making a console release. Having a game engine that can export to a console, check. Controller support, getting there. And those are the two biggest things, and then like having a relationship with the console manufacturers. And being able to say like and getting the dev kits and all sorts of things, and some of them are a lot easier than others to do this with. And we, as a new studio, do not have those pre-existing relationships or dev kits, so that part's a little tricky. It's also just a lot of time. We suddenly have to QA all these extra things. We have to make sure that these platforms are stable. If there's any additional UI needs, so like you open the map, for example, and like this, instead of it being a spacebar, is the X button for Xbox, and it's the circle button for PlayStation. I know those are terrible buttons probably to have those be, but you get my point, is that like changing these based on your and we already do have a system for that, switching to a controller support, but it's just updating all these little things, and so there's a lot of work that goes into that, and we'll be doing all those things once we have a little more time, and we're like the game's further on in development, and yeah. Can we just say lore-wise? Yeah, that's probably a better way to say it. Lore-wise. The easy way. The best way. Thank you for that. Sometimes my words don't want to be words. Alright, if Warcry becomes basic primalist, will Beastmaster get a new skill next patch or in the future? In the future. Yeah, I don't know why I went this way. The, I can't remember what it is. I can't remember if we moved something in there already. I mean, I can look. What's the plan? Primalist, Beastmaster. Oh, there's something in there. One of the summons is getting moved into Beastmaster. Which makes sense, because that's what the Beastmaster's all about, is different summons. Where am I going? Still got one more. Come to Papa. It'd be such a big damage boost to like just sending something into the future, because and like sometimes I don't want to send the thing I'm actually fighting. Yeah, I think so. As of next patch, we'll be missing one thing from base primalist and one thing from shaman. Yeah. All right, I'm back. I'm back. I can see your questions again. Let's keep this ball rolling in the arena party.
I cannot do that.
But please. All right. What is the third transform replacing Ice Thorns as a skill slot, or is there going to be a new skill to replace it for caster types outside of transforms? Yeah, there's a bit of a shuffle happening in Primalist in general. Oh, we've got another sub. Muckthrophaz. It's a cool name, I like it. Muckthrophaz, welcome, welcome. Glad to have you with us.
Cannot do that.
Just send a few of you away.
I cannot do that.
There we go. It's a little more manageable. Yeah, there's a bit of a shakeup happening in Primalist. Like I said, yeah, it just said this probably after you asked that. But yeah, we will be. We will have one shaman and one base Primalist skill available slot available for after the patch for a future patch. Yeah. So there's no more new Primalist skills coming that haven't been teased or mentioned yet. I don't think.
I cannot do that. I cannot do that.
Please give Beastmaster some sort of cool animal style spin to win for the skill slot. like picks up if you've got other, it picks up your companions and does like spin with them. Like take a little kid, grab him by the arms, and spin him around. Wolf spin. Yes, please do that. We're not gonna do that. Sorry. So that'll be Crows being moved to Beastmaster from Primalist then, or Spriggan. We'll have details on that later. Can Wherebear Maul jump as far as leap, or it requires a target? No to both of those. It cannot jump as far as leap, and it does not require a target. Shark Companion and make Sharknado node that scales with aspect of the shark. I love it. Perfect. Perfect. I see no issues with visual noise or screen clutter. Just perfection. Nice little ambient music.
I cannot do that.
Come on. I know I said it before, I just can't wait for these boots next patch. It'll be so much better. They're fine now. The extra charge is amazing. Gonna be so much better. Yeah. Better how? Yeah, better. They'll have some better stats that you can get on them, I think. It'll just make them less of a like one-trick pony, I guess. Okay, yep, that's a lot. Let's just not be there for
I
that.
cannot do that. I cannot do that.
Submit.
Yeah, I'm considering submitting to you because like the power is undeniable. Petition for all streams from now on to be in B costume. I will destroy this thing. It was so itchy. Well, actually, the tutu was really itchy. But here's the B again for you. I'll put on the shoulders. Even with this is how I have to do it. I'm just gonna... Oh god, it's through. We can have the wings. We're not doing the tutu. It's just so itchy. Any leaks today? I feel like we've hit the critical mass on leaks today. For not for the stream really, but just for the game in general with announcements. Hey Judd. I feel like that's probably you. Might be Alex. Muckthrophus has gifted a T1 sub to Burke Stark. Congrats. Thank you very much. Glad to have you guys with us. It's been a while since we've had Judd in the stream here, but glad to have you back, bud. Oh, where's my density? There we are, a little bit better. Can't cleave things without things to cleave. No, I don't. I intentionally did not prep any big leaks today, specifically because I knew we were unveiling a pretty epic form today. I did reveal there's a node in Swarmblade that lets you. It's so weird to be able to say that out loud. Swarmblade. There's a node in Swarmblade that lets you attack your hives to get them to get the locusts to come out faster. And it can be incidental attacks. So like you can drop the hive underneath a boss, say, and attack the boss, and it'll also attack the hive, and locusts will spawn faster. Forgot about daylight savings time. Yeah, I know there's parts of the world that are on daylight savings, and parts that aren't. So we're not yet, but we will be eventually. I hope we get rid of it completely. Definitely in that camp. Right. Okay, since I love technical jargon, Mike, can you explain why phasing is technically not possible currently? I understand baseline, the challenge of passing hitboxes, hitboxing, especially with your bigger bosses, etc. For example, Lagan. Yeah. It basically just comes down to we can't guarantee the position of things when they're simultaneously occupying the same space. That's really all it comes down to. And resolving those conflicts reliably. That's it. It's not a very flashy problem, but it makes it very difficult to have those effects. Because you may notice that we don't really have those effects yet in the game. And it's not for lack of suggestions of them to show up. At all. But, like, hopefully, at least, like the elusive ailment stat bar below the health bar, it is something that we'll eventually figure out how to do. Because it is a useful tool. It's another type of movement. It's another type of just mechanic to work into the game. And just having variety and interesting mechanics is like one of the best ways to make cool new stuff. Big hit there. Yeah, but I already am, so I missed the first hour of the stream. Oh, and do that savings. Yeah, well, it'll be on the YouTube. And also on just the Twitch below thing. I really like the way this weapon looks, especially. The visuals of it. I'm a big fan. Just a big mace. It really reminds me of Sauron's mace from the opening of Lord of the Rings. Big fan. Nope. That's the hotkey. Let's go down here. A little bit of water. Remember to drink water, everybody. Oh, that's good. Little bit bubbly water from the soda stream. Touch of lemon in it. Mmm. My wife made lemon shortbread cookies and had leftover. It just needed the zest, but didn't need the actual lemon, so there's a bunch of lemon juice, I think. So I've been using it for putting in bubbly water. It's good. Really good. I'm really enjoying this Void Cleave build here. It really feels like you can set up these quite large combinations of hits and good movement, good battlefield control. And also just, smash. Mike like smash.
I cannot do that. Yeah.
There you go. Big hits. Quiet, you got tons of questions in a good way. Thank you. Good questions. Keep them coming. Do you know what the cap is on normal Spriggan Vines? I know you guys capped it because it falls in line with Necro caps. Do you know the number by chance? I want to say 12. And then 4 for the giant ones, because it's like a 3-to-1 ratio. I think. I think it's 12. We will convert you to the dot life eventually, Mike. I welcome you to try. No, I used to WoW main Warlock, Affliction was all the rage back then. tons of fun. Tons of fun. Alright, here's a question. When you eventually introduce MTX regarding skill effect MTX, would you ever consider wonky effects, or would you try and keep things strictly thematic and in line with world setting? I think there's a little bit of leeway there, but not like I don't want to have the joke that I made last time was like a Trader Joe's hat. I don't want to have an assault rifle in place of a bow. I know these are still item examples. We're not going to shoot flaming teddy bears instead of fireball. I just realized I basically just described Annie. There's definitely a line. It's got to be at least like close. Like maybe it's a stretch a little bit. The MTX is where we will stretch things more. So the in-game effects that are like not MTX at all, those are the ones that are strictly in-world everything. So like we had someone. This was I'm sure they'll be fine when we talk about this because they're items in the game and it's amazing now. But we had someone who their initial concept for a unique to design was an ice cream cone offhand. And while it would look cool and it was a sweet concept for item, it wouldn't. An ice cream cone doesn't really fit in the world, so we couldn't use that as like a base for like the art or the items theming, and it just didn't work. MTX will have a little bit more leeway there than that, but I still think an ice cream cone probably wouldn't fly. It might with MTX. Be borderline at best, though. Would you have razor footprints as an MTX? Like razor? No. I don't think. Maybe? I don't think so. And my gut reaction is no. But we haven't had like an official meeting on that to decide it. Was that a direct? I mean, that may have been a direct reference to a game that I'm unaware of. I personally would think that's too far out there. Magically frozen ice cream is doable. It is, and that's not actually the hard part about it. It's the cone structure. So like even if you're creating out of magic, the base item has to exist in the world somewhere. But like the concept of an ice cream cone there's no way that's been invented yet in this world, right? So that's actually the problem with it. Weirdly enough. The Razer logo, that is, yeah, okay. There's some like there's this concept of what I want to call like stealth nerd. And I did not coin that phrase. If the first place that I heard it was on Day 9 stream. Quite enjoy his streams. Haven't been able to watch live in years, but it was probably a decade ago now that he was talking about having T-shirts in the wild that would have like the Protoss logo on it or something like that. It's like it just looks like an interesting geometric pattern, and then so people who don't know what it is, it's just like, okay, cool, it's a neat pattern on your shirt, but everyone who knows. And so like I could see the argument for sort of like the inverse of that, where like the footsteps could exist and like specifically the Razer logo, because it is just like you don't know what it looks like. That's what the Razer logo looks like. It looks enough sort of, could be anything, even a boat. that you could almost get away with having it and still have it feel like in-universe, but everyone who plays the game, well, everyone, a large percentage of people who play the game would know that it's not. And that's the problem I have with it personally. So, it's all hypothetical because we haven't made a decision on this yet. But I would say the answer is unlikely. Couldn't the argument with time travel, you could travel to any period of time and get these things, like ice cream, even with future technology? Absolutely. The problem is that the timeline kind of ends because someone is a big jerk face and is ending everything. And so there's no future to go to with it. Pee-wee did it years ago and people got pissed, so yeah, it was a reference. Okay. I'd say if it's already been done and the response was very negative, there's a low probability of us doing it. Yeah. Little arena one. I like this arena with the death zones that show up. Big fan.
I cannot do that.
Shakraki. Wuthaki. Oh no.
Do that.
Come on. There's a lot of damage coming out here. Oh, spicy. Yeah, it is getting hot.
I cannot do that.
Go. Nice one. Just take a chill pill. Take a breather. Relax. Chill out. Stick around. Predator comes to the door. Arnie, king of the one-liners. Always has been. Sorry, chat. I will survive this. I will survive this. As long as I know how to love, I know I'll be alive.
I cannot do that. Stand down or die.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot do that.
Well, I was hoping for an echo there. Oh, get out. Okay. That was a tough one. That was good. That felt good. I love it when it gets hairy. But in the monolith, we do travel into the future. Sorry, being a lore nerd and cheeky now. Dang, you're right. You got me. I do not have a good answer for that. The dial just only goes so far. I just can't make it turn on. Will upheaval have any interaction with earthquake? I think there's some things that are like, it buffs both, but I don't know if there's anything actually directly in one tree affecting the other. can't remember. I'm sorry. Does the Effigy of Oblivion have a specific role? We don't see them in the campaign. Yeah, this is one of those, like, I'm real bad at this type of question. Sorry. Probably. There are some things we have created, and the, like, zones or the scenario where, like, we're like, okay, we're gonna have this happen, and we'd have an enemy that does this because of that. And then we change how the storyline's gonna work. We don't need the enemy for it anymore, but we still want to use it. Or we've got something that's coming, and we're like, we have the enemy now, and it's really good, so we want to get in the game, and it works like a monolith enemy. That's happened a couple times. It's probably something along those lines. Oh, archers! Deadly in any era. Deadly in any era. There we go. Got it right. Nailed it.
I cannot do that.
I had a death last night in Nilithak's lair in the Halls of Vought because of archers. Just realized I made that comment. I'm like, I'm the only one that understands what I just said.
I cannot do that.
There, I'm a lore master now. I didn't see the rest of the comment. I got one. The void came in before they got to invent ice cream. The darkest of the timelines. I can see now that this is the lightest timeline. Because we have ice cream. Okay. Okay. There's like a really good chance I'm about to die. That'll help. Boop.
Stand down or die.
Okay. We're stabilized. Pop him out of existence. Pop him back and go ham. Make him do his entrance animation again. Eep.
Yeah.
That feels like a bug. Ooh. If only you had some form of potion to restore your hit points. We could call them Mike Doesn't Die potions. Sounds wonderful. How do I get Mike Doesn't Die potions? I die with potions here in my bar a lot. I know that. Mike, if you like setting up hits, you should try Flame Reed plus Firebrand Spellblade. Extra bonus if you have both the cool beards. Coincidence? I don't think so. Yeah, that is a good one as well. I think next patch we'll be playing Druid. We'll be playing Druid. I've been prepping a build for that. Well, I've been subconsciously planning a build for that. It's gonna be probably Swarmblade and Wherebear focused. Maybe all three if I can make it work. And I love the moving between them. They've got some pretty strong abilities as well that let you jump between them quickly and Like you start off, all the abilities that transform between them start off with like a running start. So like one of them, you can get into Swarmblade with a bunch of locusts like already. So the Wherebear one is like after you use shout or roar, sorry, after you use roar, all of the your human form turns into remember the name of what we called them. The human form turns into just switch to Swarmblade, and for every stunned enemy around you up to 6, you get a locust. So you can just be like stun, and then switch to Swarmblade with 6 locusts already rolling, and everything's stunned around you. It feels great. And if you want, you can just like spin right away. That was something tricky we had actually recently, is that when you go into Swarmblade form, whenever you go into a form, it uses one of the abilities. So when you go into Swarmblade form, it uses spin. And so you were like, shout, stun everything, go into Swarmblade with a spin, making a bunch of locusts, but the spin just eats all the locusts immediately. It was like, everyone was like, where are the locusts I was supposed to get? Well, you got them and consumed them. So there's a tiny delay on the locust now. So much ice. How deep into the skill trees are the power shift nodes, aka are they near the middle and thus reasonably accessible for a variety of builds? They are, like, I would say at most, I don't know what the number is, roughly 5 points from the center, I would say. Would be my guess. I think is what they are. Because quite often when I'm testing these things, I'll just I'll just respec the tree on a level 100 character, and so it just gives me 10 points to play with, and I can definitely get to all of the nodes that I was testing with those 10 points. I never had to level up extra, so it's less than 10. I think it's around 5.
Stand down or die.
And they're in pretty universally useful nodes, and they're near nodes that make sense to be getting with those. So like if you're going to be going Wherebear Swarmblade combo, like the nodes around it are ones that are going to work really well for that. You know, things like that. If you use Roar with Warcry and do non-stun Warcry, do you still get the locusts? You get locust based. You get 1 locust per stunned enemy around you. It doesn't matter how they are stunned. So you could be like Warcry non-stun mode and then do a Maul and stun a bunch of things and then shift, and you get them all from the stunned enemies from Maul. But it's 1 per stunned enemy around you. This is hilarious. That's all today, I'm pretty sure. That's funny. Ooh. Ooh. This is surprisingly like digging in. These straps are tight. I wasn't noticing it as much when I was itching my throat, but now it's or my neck. But now it's like noticeable because it's the only thing that's bothering me. Oh, get out of there! Get out of there! Yep, there we go. Okay, focus, Mike. I saw a sweet question. I'm gonna totally answer it. Any second. I'm definitely not stalling to survive.
I cannot do that.
Totally not stalling to survive. Sweet question is about crafting.
I cannot do that.
Chuck Deasy asked it. Love the name.
All right, Mike, time to get the whole ass out.
Yeah. Let's have half the ass play the game and half the ass answer questions. Oh my god, am I the ass? Oh no! Okay.
I cannot do that. I cannot do that.
That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Okay, that's fine. Anything you can share? No. Yeah. Yeah. It's okay, though. We'll get there. Anything you can share on how new crafting system won't make us feel as bad about fracturing? Kinda. So I think that the major problem with fracturing right now... Oh, we're not doing that. We're not fighting the shade. Get a key. Let's get a key. I think the major problem with fracturing right now is that it goes from... It happens... It's a binary state. Happens very quickly. There's no like slow decay to it. It just sort of happens all at once. There's no chance for like redemption or like a cheeky little extra bonus to get out of it. It's just like all of a sudden you're just done. I think that's the part that sucks the most about it, is that it's so abrupt. Yeah, I think that's the worst part about it. And we do need just to clarify here, we do need items to be able, items to be able to have a mechanic whereby they can't be upgraded anymore. Or at least working on them is very difficult. So like even as an example, in for example, Path of Exile, when you have corrupted items, there are still mechanics by which you can work with them a little bit. It's just way less than normal, and it's like edge cases and like secret mechanics. I want to say like they're not secret, but just like they're not immediately presented with like the basic crafting options. I guess corruption's not an ultra basic crafting option in the first place. Anyways, my point is that having this just like chance-based, suddenly it's broken, can't do anything to it, that's the part that sucks. So like the big difference is that when in Path of Exile, when you are corrupting something, you know you're corrupting it. You're like, it's gonna not be usable to change afterwards. This is it. This is the end. Like, you can see it coming. There's not just like a sudden like, oh, you got unlucky and it happened. Maybe there is, and I'm just forgetting some mechanic. But my point is that like getting that feeling of like you can see it coming a little bit, you can prepare for it a little bit. Having that more information and control is, I think, going to be very useful. Mike says he's been subconsciously thinking about a Druid build. This means that he's been bugging Reimer for one. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, that's true. That's accurate, I would say. No, we've just been chatting about it. If you use... Oh, I already asked that. I went back and forth. Just a little question that has been bugging me. First, I love Stormblade. Thank you very much. Can't wait to play the big bug. How does the Stormblade fit the lore of the Druid, though? The Primalist came from the north, you know, where the winter cold most of the time. Thought someone's coming. The forms themselves are really just a connection to nature and a different path of a connection to nature. Yeah. think that's the key thing there. And like I saw this discussion was happening on the forums and Discord as well about like how does it tie in? Doesn't make any sense. It's not natural, and I think it really is. And I think there was a really good comment about how like it fits that third branch of like what makes up like the vast majority of nature. These like beasts, animals, and things roaming the land that are like mammals. Anyway, I don't have any like fish going in here, but like you get that sort of style, and then you get like the flora, the trees, sprigging, and all that sort of stuff, and then you get that insect representation. And I think that's a really key, a key part of it, is that it's more about the druid's connection to nature itself than anything specific in, let's say, like the world. If that makes any sense. We're gonna take a quick peek and see what I'm actually supposed to be building here. Give me that. give me that planner link that I definitely didn't have up. I definitely did have up. Void Cleave, where's this point going, Reimer? We'll get the build right. So I always screwed up. We're gonna put a point there. And then... and here, where is it? You get that feeling when you're following a build that you're like, I have everything? Where is it? This makes no sense. Oh, here it is. I just skipped it. Did that already? Let's do this one. All happened all at once here. Which is as to be expected. I'm trying to put the points in on the build plan. I'm like, why isn't this working? Here we go. If you're curious at all as to the build, that was a good little look at how it's laid out. Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you for that, Reimer. Much appreciated. There's also, sorry, with relation to your the winter cold most of the time, there can be bugs in cold spaces, and it's way less of them. But magic, right? Anyways, there's some relative tie-ins that make sense for that in the tree. I can't believe all those months ago aspect of the Mantis buff was the best in-game hint towards Swarmblade. You guys planned so far ahead, and I'll be looking in the game for future teasers. This is a really good nod to the thing I was saying at the start of the stream. We've been working on this for a long time. This is one of the longest development skills we've ever had, I think. Possibly the longest development skill we've ever had. Maybe one of the rogue ones, actually. And I say development like active development.
Not do that.
Like I wouldn't consider the like some skill that we were like, well, we'll get to that eventually. You know, we're not really doing anything on it. Yeah. Remember all those months ago, you all called me crazy about the buff being relevant. But yeah, there's definite nods to things that are that happen ahead of time. Not everything is a nod, so don't necessarily read into it too heavily. But it happens. Mantis form prophet. Oh yeah, Quiet. You're saying you thought it was going to be an elemental. And I was like, you're going to have to get those squats ready, right? How many squats was it? Was it like 1,000 or something? It was 100, I think. It was 100 squats, yeah. What's new transformed? Oh, buddy, you gotta go check out the
I cannot
news
do that.
channel on all of our platforms for everything. We can take a little where is it here? It's got to be near the top, doesn't it? Yep. Swarmblade. This will be the new transform. Oh yeah. So cool. So cool. Hundred squats. He's doing them. He's doing them right now.
I cannot do that.
Dreamthorn. I love this sword so much. Let's get out of here first real quick. Show me a screenshot first. And yes, it was 100. I need to see the in-game tag first. Oh, you want to see if it has like an elemental tag to the tooltip? It does not have it does not have the tag elemental on the tooltip. You can add one elemental tag to it, not the tag elemental, but one of the things that's part of elemental. You can add that to it through the tree. Was that part of the prediction? Because we do element conversions for so many things. Gold is not a default tag. Prediction was by default. Haha. Sorry to say, the default tags are minion. I think because it has a minion skill. Physical. Might just be just straight physical, actually. It's the only tag. I can't remember if we put tags for the transform skills in there or not. But regardless, there's no element tags in there by base. Monday squats will happen. Attributes as well. Oh yeah. It has strength and dexterity and attunement tags. I just love this sword. Give me my purple lightsaber, yo. We're getting close here. Not gonna make it. We'll have to do this boss next time. Why do I feel like I did this boss already? Am I like just redoing a timeline I've already done and I just like didn't walk across the bridge? Am I a crazy person? Can we add Ted as a companion name to Wolf Companions so my new German Shepherd would be very happy about it? Oh, maybe. We can't put too many names in there. It just becomes like a... It just gets a random name each time. That is a great name for a dog, though. It's Ted. I love giving animals like human names. Pop. Mike, now that Void Knight and Druid are in very good shape, who's next? That's a great question. There's a lot that still needs to happen. I've got it written down. I totally know who it is off the top of my head. No, it's we're not ready to reveal exactly what it's going to be because it could change a little bit still. But we're still lots of work to do on the ones we're implementing for this patch. So there's still all sorts of little bugs. As we get more complex with our trees and with our skills in general and the interactions they have with each other, and as we add in new skills, it just multiplies out the number of options there are and the interactions that could happen. Each skill becomes harder and harder to put in because there's so many edge cases. So we're doing our best to get them done as quickly as we can. It's just a lot of things to do. How many dungeons are being added on the first iteration? Just one. I'm almost positive I said that before. A lot of it is getting the mechanics and the feel right for dungeons in general. And there's a lot of work that goes into making a dungeon, and so having that be something that we're in is solid. Also, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes mechanics that have to get worked on, so we have to. The options are kind of like build the dungeon system this patch and like don't release it, and then over the course of the next patch cycle make a whole bunch of dungeons and release them all at once, or we can build the system, get one done, push it out. It does work fully as its own system. We do have some things planned to expand it as we bring more dungeons in and make it more cohesive and feel more like an ecosystem of itself. So like we are building it with very intentional plans for expansion. I think this means we actually have to test stuff. Yeah. Getting a lot of text today. I'm gonna turn that off. It's quite rare. Are you from Canada? Because it sounds like you are. Oh yeah, eh, bud? Oh yeah. No dude about it. No two ways about it, bud. This old Canuck is proud to be Canadian. It's me laying on the accent a little thick. That was more of an East Coaster accent, a light East Coast accent, but yeah. Yes, I am from Canada. You're from Prince Edward County. I don't know where that is now. I know where Prince Edward Island is. The oft-forgotten Canadian province. Because it's just little bitty bitty.
I cannot do that.
You have no chance. You have
Oh, I forgot. Run away. Well, I just gotta make sure that happens so I can fight them individually and not with a gigantic pack or with too many other enemies.
I cannot do that.
pathetic.
Pathetic? Come on, no, that's not very nice. We have a nice professional working relationship. Thank you, Wilbatron, for the host. Hope you're enjoying the show. Welcome, welcome. Small area south of Belleville in Ontario. Yes, I will not be familiar with that area in the slightest. Sorry. Another question here. Been watching this game for a while. It's nice to see how far it's coming along. Any news on the multiplayer portion yet? We don't have an exact date for you yet. Sorry. Would love to though. That'd be cool. That'd be such like a way to bury the lead moment. Double dash there. Great Mario Kart game. Double dash. One of the best. Vancouver. Great place, Vancouver. Hanging out down by the Canby. Just do that just so I can get this up. Yeah. I will not submit. Alright, what is the weakest performing skill in Last Epoch by your standards? That's an interesting question. The weakest performing skill. Healing Hand. That's the easy way out. Honestly, I'm Spirit Thorns. Ice Thorns is one I'm not overly pleased with right now. Wings, yes. I'm sporting the bee wings again this week. Somehow they didn't break. So we're rocking them again. Figured it was appropriate given what was released today. Hello, when are we getting the new patch? We don't have an exact date for it yet to share with you. It'll be relatively similar cadence to our normal patch timeline. I think that puts us in and around early December, give or take a couple weeks. I'm not exactly sure where it puts us, but I think that's where the timing. If I say like roughly similar timing, which is what I always say before we have a date, I think that's where roughly similar timing puts us. Is there any update to the animation of attacks character movement by chance? It's one of the things I've noticed about the game isn't all there in terms of like spell cast character movement. Yeah, so like that's something we're always working on. All those little things, and like there are I would say a select few that are not ideal, and most of them that are actually really great. And if you've got specific, like we're always updating stuff like this, so if you've got specific ones that you're not a huge fan of, the best thing to do is to leave that as feedback on the forums, and we will much more likely be to get like tackling on that. Yeah. But yeah, all those little things are always getting tweaks and updates, and we're actually, since that video, like here's a great example how quickly it happens. Since the Spriggan reveal video was made, we've actually changed the casting animation for Spirit Thorns on Spriggan form. There's actually a lot of stuff that changed this week. We just really wanted to get the post out. It looks a lot better now, even after this, like, one more week. Not just friggin' like, Wherebear, when you're, like, in form and, like, charging with lightning and whatever, it, like, puts the lightning in a better spot. I already said that one. But then, like, also you have, like, a VFX around the bear itself when you're in lightning mode like that, and then you have a unique combination VFX for if you have like Kermod's Cage attached, equipped, and that part of the reason we didn't show it was because Kermod's wasn't done yet.
I cannot do that.
But yeah, Wherebear is still around. It's not really a polar bear, it's actually like a different type of bear. It's kind of like really light, close to white, like a little bit of yellowy in there. Kind of want to try and do a little crafting. I feel like we found some boots earlier that I was pretty hyped on. Yeah. Oh, right, I've got those sweet boots. Never mind. Shh. It's okay. It's okay. Our concept art possible MTX buys in the future for transformations. Oh, the like those alternate forms that we showed in the concept arts? Yeah, I'd say those are possible targets for MTX options in the future. Yeah, and that's like I don't know if this was talked about directly, but if it wasn't, I think it was quite smart. Or lucky, or if it was talked about, it was quite smart. In that, by showing you guys all the concept arts, if we were considering using some of them for MTX options, ones that were specifically called out in the reply comments of being like, "Ooh, that one's really cool." Like I know I saw the bear with the horns. That one, I know people really liked the way that one looked. So the ones that got more attention are probably, if we did it, the ones that got more attention would probably be more likely to be the ones that would get MTX for them. And that's not to say that they'll be the only ones we'd ever do, or like go vote now. No, not that, but just naturally we do look at feedback, and even just reactions to social posts are feedback, you know? Got him. He was like, "I'm gonna explode," and I'm like, "Nuh-uh." Got him. The MTX win. I mean, yeah, you know, it'll be fun. Okay, this is warm. You know, there's like someone left the furnace on overnight, and it's hot. Like, we're creeping up past 25, 30. Like kicking the blankets off. Whatever that is in Fahrenheit, sorry. I cannot do that math in my head. Well, I can do the math, I just don't know the formula. Double beetle!
I cannot do that.
2 for the price of 1. Yeah, kind of go focus on that one. We gotta get the regular art done first before we get the VFX going too hard.
I cannot do that. I cannot do that.
Little sword, a humming bee.
I cannot do that.
There we go.
I cannot.
Go away over there.
I cannot do that.
Come back. Now go away again. Seal the ash gate.
I cannot do that.
Just gonna flip through this a bit. It's a real big zone. Don't have a ton of time left. That's a lot of deeps. Nothing I can't handle. Will the new Void Cleave boots you keep teasing be more friendly towards the fire version of Void Cleave as well? No? I don't think so. It's more of an incidental change than a direct change.
I cannot do that.
Will Fracture Exalts... Oh, wait. Will Fracture Exalts work next patch? Eternity Cache. You told us to hold on to good Exalts. Most of mine are already broken, so curious if they'll still have use. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank on if they still work as fractured or not. May have already been said, I'm late, but will Swarmblade / Spriggan have base skills that work off of skill trees? Example, Swarmblade swipe, use swipe skill tree. No, that is a Wherebear specific mechanic. We try to get mechanics unique. We try and work unique mechanics into just about everything that's contrasting. So like, we try and have the transforms as a whole in Druid, all three of them, be mechanically distinct from the transforms in, for example, Lich. And that Lich is an accelerating decay and it's a health decay, and you can get bumped out of it by just taking damage that way. But there's no restrictions on mana, and like, so then the three transforms in Druid all have that difference in that it's using rage and it's decaying, but it's a consistent decay rate. It's not an accelerating decay rate. But then we also try and make as many distinctions between the transforms inside of Druid from each other. And so one of those mechanical distinctions is the Wherebear has direct links to using other trees much more. And like right off the bat. So Swarmblade does have a node that lets you use, does let you do that. So Armblade Slashes can, you can augment it. It's 1 point right off the base of the tree, I think, that lets it use your Serpent Strike tree. Yeah. Oh, and someone just said right after, main attack will get benefit from Serpent Strike tree, though. Yes. Yes, everything chat just said I have restated now again. So good at this, guys. No big deal. We are rounding about the end of the stream here. We've hit our 2-hour mark. Chink. So I'm going to cut it off. Oh, I guess we can talk about this a little bit more. Yeah, I know that there are things that proc. Yeah, this is not a proc thing. But I feel like there can be only so many skills that I'm worried about the whole build choice. Like, will all Swarmblade people use the same skills because you only proc 4 skills, so specializing any others? Yeah, and I think that's part of what comes into, if you're going to just do pure Swarmblade and nothing else, you have access to several minion abilities, and then you have access to several things that can proc. And there's enough things that you will have to make. There's enough things with like quite good synergy that you'll have to make at least a couple choices. I missed Daniel's question about mana uniques being changed for transformations. Yeah, a lot of the ones that are, we haven't done them yet, but a lot of the ones that are specifically designed for transformations in their unique effect, will be, wow, okay, we got a bunch right at the end here. Sorry, I had my eyes closed, so I was thinking what I wanted to say. I'm going to finish my thought, and then I'll get to it, I swear. Oh my god, the ringing, it's so cool. Change for transformation, so like your belt and Kermod's Cage, and I think there's one other that are specific for transformation changes to mana. For most of them, I'm pretty sure we're just saying, like, we're just taking the word mana out and replacing it with rage and calling it a day. But we still have to go in there and double check all those and make sure it's good and balanced and all that sort of stuff. Wow! Thank you very much, Boardman. 20 subs. Pew, pew, pew. Looking awesome. Gifted a total of 306 subs in this channel. That is a little mind-boggling. That is very cool. That is very cool. Thank you very much. Yes, our charity this month is Extra Life, so it's all gonna go to them. Yeah, flipping cool. That's a great note to end the stream on. I am very happy you all came. I hope you had fun. I know I did. We will see you next week, same time, same place.